Hi, this is Kyle again with kayDbait. Somebody by the name of westin1985, a longtime viewer of my channel, asked me to do a video on, well, he asked me to discuss, anyway, corruption within the government, what the government is doing, what politicians are doing, people in power, not necessarily in America, but around the world. And I didn't originally want to do it, but he did give a fair argument on why people should deal with these kinds of issues, because they are self-propagating. They do mess with the things that hurt people that aren't in power. So even if I don't want to deal with it, it still affects me, it still affects you. So I'm going to be talking about what it is to have schemes, scandals, conspiring to do evil, and what causes stuff like this, or at least what can cause this kind of thing. So the first thing it's going to be is, what is a scandal? A scandal is something that the media gets a hold of, that somebody did. It's usually very popular, and it ruins their image generally, or it makes the job look bad, such as the head of a church being caught sleeping with children, kind of thing. The morally high doing something that is not fitting of what they stand for, and it gives the entire area of what they do a bad image, and that's what really a scandal is about. It could just be somebody who is very popular for diet commercials eating a giant chocolate cake, and it's a scandal. But generally it's something more important than that, but anything could be a scandal. Sex scandals, somebody cheating on their wife. It's generally something the media says is a scandal is a scandal. A scheme, on the other hand, is something that somebody is purposely doing either for their own benefit or for the benefit of people that they want to give something to that may not deserve it, or even if they do deserve it, they're trying to do it underhandedly or sneakily. With stealth. A scandal can be anything from bribing a public official to cheating on your taxes, or robbing somebody, actually going into their garage. Scheming is like planning. Planning to do something that you either feel justified in doing, or that will be viewed as you trying to justify that you deserve it. Okay, what motivates these kind of behaviors? Greed, mostly. Greed is a very strong motivator for wanting things. It's not always the thing. It could be generosity. You are trying to take the money from the person you feel doesn't deserve it. But that's justification. Maybe they do deserve it because they earned it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they took it from you first. I don't know. But greed is a very powerful motivator. It also makes it can get people's minds twisted, where they try to justify, I'm doing this because I need it, but really they just want it. And that's a very powerful difference. Need and want are not the same thing, though they may seem it at the time. Okay, another justification can be the needs of the few above the many. I am more deserving than you. This was very, very popular a long time ago, when there was a ruling class that felt they were better than others. But it's also now the elected officials feel sometimes that they are more deserving than the people they're trying to, their constituents. I am very important because I was elected. I succeeded in being elected, so therefore now I'm in a cushy job, and I don't have to help you guys anymore. That kind of thing. It's not always how it works, but it is a problem that does happen. Another way people can justify things: the ends justifies the means. Very popular quote. The lives of the many are more valuable than the lives of the few, or the lives of the just are more valuable than the lives of the unjust, which is where torture comes in. You catch a terrorist, you torture him, and figure out how to save more people. Then you get the gray area of, are they terrorists? What kind of torture is legal or fair? or humane. Should humans be doing this kind of thing? Like in my previous videos, I mentioned that. So there's a lot of things going on where if the end justifies the means, depending on what the end is, you can justify a lot of messed up stuff. And that's just what it is. It's justification. We do not know what is just. We, within a culture, can deem what is just, but that doesn't mean we know. Especially when other cultures are around that say we're wrong. That's pretty bad. That's what the Geneva Convention was all about. We're defining what we can do in war. The most violent acts in the world. Mustard gas, waterboarding, cutting off fingers, or kidnapping the wives of the neighboring countries, stuff like that. Some of that stuff is pretty screwed up. Even in wartime, mustard gas is a terrible, terrible, terrible way to die. If you've ever read what it does. Okay, genocide. It's connected to racism because genocide means that the wiping out of a gene pool, a group of people, whether it be race or a grouping of you can say the Japanese, but you can also say the people of this town because they're mostly related. Or it can be the Jews. That's a very very prominent knowledge that happened. They're still around, but there's very, very few of them in comparison to what there was. But genocide can be deemed wrong. There is only a very small amount of people that will ever try to justify it, and they're insane, and they're wrong. I can say that with confidence, not because I feel that I know more, but because I feel, or that I feel that people will agree with me, but because it's just one of the most screwed up things people can do, period. If you don't agree with me, I disagree with you. That's one of the very few things that I'll ever do that with. Okay, nationalistic pride. This is where a lot of racism comes from. This is where cultural differences start. Not necessarily a bad thing, but if it gets out of hand, it can become very damaging because then our nation is better than your nation. Our culture is better than your culture. Go America! Or if you're from another country, go another country. And you can be all prideful, and you can have your flag, and you can be all cool, but once you start, you go to another country and you're like, USA, if you start doing that, and you start saying that yours is better than theirs, then that's being nationalistic, and it's being extremely prideful, but then it's also being, extremely rude, and you're actually saying I'm better than you because of my nationality. And that's where you start making problems. What are you doing?
Okay, what?
I'm making a video. Okay, nationalistic pride. It's good. I mean, it can give you a lot of good feelings, especially if your country's doing really good. But sometimes it can start doing bad things, and then you have to also understand that you don't support your team because it's your team. You support your team because it's doing what you feel is right. And you got to understand that there are times when you have to say, wait a second, we're not doing the right thing, and we have to step up. So anyway, examples of bad things that countries have done, which is examples of racism. The internment camps, the concentration camps, the Nazi death camps, and the relocation camps, which America has done also. So a lot of countries have done this stuff. It's saying, in a time of war or a time of crisis, we have gathered up the people that we are against and put them in a small group, away from their homes or away from where they lived, and put them in these areas and guarded. Not a prison, but in all intensive purposes, extremely, extremely racist. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, but it just doesn't seem like, we can say the Nazi death camps are wrong. They killed, millions of people. But the relocation camps were one step below that. We put them all in one place, in case we could have done that. I'm not saying we would have, but what if we got a crazy person in power? That's who Hitler was a crazy person in power. had the war spread and become culturally accepted to, hate, and, there's always hate crimes. So anyway, that's actually my next note topic. Cultural differences, diversity, the judgment of cultures, hate crimes. All three of these things, the internment camps was a government-level hate crime. It was justifying within our culture taking out people of a certain nationality or national origin and putting them in a little area. Now, doing that with mostly with the uneducated will say we are better than them because they did wrong, and now doing wrong to them is not wrong, and that's the thought process, and I've seen that. My friend over here is shaking his head. Are you agreeing or disagreeing? Okay, he's just playing a game on his phone. Okay, I was just checking because I wanted to get some feedback if he had any. He flipped me off. He doesn't want to be in my video. Okay, diversity. The diversity of culture. Their cultures are different. The French are, France is different than America. Germany is different than America. Canada, even though it's very close to us, is different than America. Doesn't make us better, doesn't make us worse. But once you start, seeing the differences and, saying, I don't like what they're doing, that's fine. You can say that. But a hate crime, seeing someone of a different culture and beating the snot out of them because they're a different culture. That happens a lot during wartime, on all sides. All the different countries do it. Maybe not all of them, but enough of them to warrant saying, I can't name them all. There's a lot. Right after 9/11, there was a lot of hate crimes. People were grabbing anyone in a turban and beating them up, regardless of who they were. And those were hate crimes. They were completely, in people's minds, they were justified. This person, because I can't grab the actual people that did it, this person is the person I am going to take my justice out on, even if they were completely innocent. Okay, my friend wrote something. It says Mexico. I'm not sure why he's holding up a sign that says Mexico. And now he's laughing, so I'm going to ignore that because I don't know the context of what he's trying to ask. What? Mexico. Oh, cultural pride. That's what he's doing. The cultural pride in Mexico. That's he's derailing my train of thought. I apologize. I'll do another video if I don't get this one done in time, because I only have 2 minutes left. Okay, cultural differences, hate crimes, the censorship of the media. This is something the government does. If the government is strong enough to control the media, then they can slowly change the culture to either allow the government to get away with things that you don't want, originally, or they can hide things that the culture would rebel against, such as genocide or, the secret police of certain countries, going around doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, within the doctrines of the constitution of the country, rigging elections. The media is supposed to keep people honest. It's supposed to keep people informed. But if the government controls it and is not being fair, which once you start controlling what people hear and see, it's a slippery slope, then you have to worry about, what am I, if I'm hearing what is true. And with the advances of the internet, it's getting much harder for things to be covered up, especially with cameras in their phones and video cameras everywhere and instant uploads and things going viral. It's much harder to hide things. So, the censorship of the media is now becoming who can twist things the best, the people with the silver tongues. Who can make something that is obviously wrong seem kind of gray now. So, okay, I'm not done yet with my video, and I'm only at 10 seconds left, so I'm going to figure out what my friend wanted to say, and I'm going to make another video, part 2. So take care, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.